Hi, everyone. Mike Vlamis here, affectionately known as the V-Man. And I want to introduce myself and my partner, Brian Barkowski, who you'll talk to in a minute. And this is the first V-Man and Barko Podcast. I've been doing these mortgages now for about 9 years and had great success, had some great teachers and mentors. I'm in 12 states. Our company's in 23 states. But Barko and I, once we met, we hit it off immediately, and our shtick is second to none, and we're helping a lot of people get into new homes or refinance their old high interest rate. And I'm just happy to be here, and just call me the V-Man.
Right on. Thanks, V-Man. I'm Barko, Brian Barkowski, also a loan officer at A&N Mortgage, and super excited about being here with you guys and the V-Man Barko Podcast. So goal here is try to educate a little bit about mortgages and how to finance your home and ways to make that money and equity work for you, and educate along the way and have some fun, talk a little bit about some Brother Rice, some Carmel connections, and do some things in the community. So V-Man, super excited about doing this with you, and you're not wrong, man. We hit it off right away when we started putting the connections together, and just super excited for this. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your mortgage journey, your why, and kind of what drives you every day when it comes to doing mortgages?
So I'm going to go back a ways because that's how Barko and I met, or that's what we had the most in common. He went to Brother Rice, a private Catholic school on the south side. I went to Mount Carmel, a private Catholic school on the near south side. And we just have tons of mutual connections and friends. And we both coached high school. We both taught at high schools. We both stayed active with the alumni, with the students, the faculty, and the whole community involving those two schools. And that's how we met. And this is just a perfect fit for Barko and myself. I started out at Torco Oil in the 80s. A $500 million energy company right out of college, and catapulted to the vice president of that company at the tender age of 27. And just been helping all the big buildings and the Fortune 500 companies to heat and cool their facilities. And I got thrown into the fire and became a very experienced, savvy salesman. And then from there, I went into telecom, internet technology. We took a company public, raised $250 million, number one NASDAQ stock in the world. And throughout my career in oil, gas, electricity, internet, telecom, and technology, I was accumulating real estate. So I bought several buildings, 3 flats, condos, single-family homes in Lincoln Park, Lakeview, Gold Coast. And my cousin, Dean Vlamis, whose wife Nina owns A&N Mortgage, Dean did all my mortgages. And it was really cool. I learned all about the mortgage process and the business, never thinking I'd be a loan officer someday. So I know a lot about real estate from getting my feet wet and buying and selling and being a landlord. And now the last 8 or 9 years, I've been a lender, and I have 12 licenses. The company's in about 23 states. We have 23 licenses, offices in Chicago, Clarendon Hills, New Buffalo, Michigan, Estero, Florida, Phoenix, Arizona. So we get around a lot. And but it all comes back to Barko and I and our contacts, our sense of humor, our work ethic, our drive, and we're made up to help people, whether we coached them, taught them, raised money for our schools, or now helping them get a new mortgage or lower their rate so they could live happily ever after with their families. Is that about it, Barko?
Yeah, dude, I love it. That's a true story. For me, it's, being teachers and watching these kids grow up and, get their first homes and condo, whatever, and then have a couple kids and expand and go to the suburbs. And for me, watching them, teaching them and now watching them get to this point has been super rewarding. And just not stuff I thought I'd get to experience as I was in those halls as a teacher and administrator at Brother Rice. But on this side of it now, I'm super thankful for that opportunity and get these kids home and let them enjoy the journey of home ownership. Dude, thanks for sharing that. I love it. I'm sure we'll have some stories in a little deeper detail when it comes to us diving into this and our history I mean, I fell into this a handful of years ago, but my journey started out of college. I went to umpire school, made a mistake on the last day of umpire school, and it was game over for me. I'll tell that story another time. I had no other plan out of college. Turned down a couple jobs, ended up getting a job in minor league baseball towards the very beginning of the season, the Beloit Snappers. Spent 5 seasons there. Just wonderful. My office was the ballpark for 5 years. So those stories I could go on for days about. But it was time for me to come home, end up getting a job. My real job, what I was getting paid for was to be the charge of fundraising and marketing at Rice, working with the team. And I taught for fun, which, was super rewarding. And it was really great to have that connection with the kids. And just from the marketing aspect, from that standpoint, at being all those events and cheering them on and trying to record that and capture that for not only them, but an alumni when I was, my job was mainly to pick pockets and spread the good word of the Crusaders. So after about 12 years there, after Mom passed, a little, number of things, but tough to turn that corner every day and see her Hall of Fame plaque without missing her. And it was time for me to kind of do something different. Had a buddy with a mortgage company on a piece of paper and said, hey, if you want it, it's yours. Had the support, and it was awesome to grow a business, to help get some other people in the industry and to learn it from the ground up. Got my hands dirty in a lot of different ways in terms of the back end, the front end, and just learning it, and marketing and closing a loan. I started it without ever closing a loan before in my life. It was really good. I'm glad I learned that way, but I am super thankful for what Nita has provided. Just let me close my loans. Let me be with my clients and help them get to where they want to go. To be able to set this up from us, because I know how difficult it is to get that many states on board, and that's not cheap. Not only that from the compliance standpoint, from getting everybody on board. It's not an easy task, and she does it flawlessly. I don't know if flawlessly, but not everyone's perfect, but it's it's so easy for us to be able to come in and do our jobs, and that for me is the best thing, because I can just take care of my clients, which she's set up. So super thankful for what I was able to kind of start and get through. At this point, though, man, I just want to be able to help my clients, and it's been a great spot. And then I get to meet you. We go out. I don't think we've been out once without running into someone we know. Like, it's bananas. So we should have to start a little bet or something to see how that shakes out towards the end of the year and see how many people who wins. But that's the beauty, man. Like, you are people love to connect with you, and that's one of the things I find so awesome. Like, there's no one ever said, man, I don't like the V-Man. Like, it's fun to watch you just go out and you will talk to everyone, and it's just been really cool. So
it's like you're looking in a mirror, and vice versa. When we first met,
I don't think I have as much as you do, but I do have enough. But I not like you, man. It's fantastic. So it's cool, man. Like, we were down a couple weeks ago, and this kid you started chatting with, and you're going to help this kid with the loan, I think. You got that lead, and you guys put this connection together of someone, like, you completely random. You're like, how does this kid know this guy? And, like, that's how it goes, man. That light bulb went. I'm getting chills. Like, that's it. Start a conversation, put a couple pieces together, and you're like, man, all right. So that stuff, I love that. And to be able to be a resource and help tag team this with you and spread the good word of mortgages and how we can get people to help, save some money, financial freedom, and put that equity to good use, and just build the plan. I think you and I know from education, like, if people ask me, when do I need to start this, man? Start today. Like, I don't care if you're buying tomorrow or 2 years from now, but just know what these numbers look like so that you can really build that plan. So super excited to be able to do this with you and, like, just continue to get people on board, just to look at it and then build that plan for you and figure out when that time it doesn't happen.
Two things come to mind. One is, we were sitting at a bar at a rainout game for a Cubs game, and the kid to my left, they were from out of state, but they were, new Cub fans who jumped on the bandwagon. And after giving each other a hard time, blah, 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 he dropped some names on me that were Chicago heavyweights, and he was dealing with them, and that broke the ice. And now I'm going to help that kid get a jumbo loan in a Lincoln Park mansion. And then the guy sitting 2 chairs to the right of you was the general manager of one of our little restaurants in Downers Grove. And I don't mind giving Chuck Gatto a plug. He's a great guy. And he's got Gatto's in Downers Grove, Tinley Park, and New Lenox. And the GM is sitting 2 chairs to your right, and you knew him real well. Anyway, just to drop that on. And then one thing you mentioned about there's no such thing as too early. People need to know how to manage their finances, how not to overspend, how to keep their credit score high, how to accumulate money and save that money for a down payment and closing costs, to learn about taxes, insurance, escrow. You need to know that now, whether you're buying 1, 2, or 3 years from now. Too bad we don't have a class or a course to teach people about all the things that entails with getting a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, federal government-backed mortgage. But you're right. It's never too soon to explore what you could get approved for a mortgage.
Yeah, agreed. And, we don't have to, everyone doesn't need to learn all the Freddie and Fannie guidelines. That's why we're here. But that's why you come to us and we take a look and make sure, hey, here's a couple options for you. Here, plan accordingly, build accordingly. So, absolutely right. And Chuck, yes, one of the best, man. I love my time in Downers, and just a great dude and great for the communities he's been involved in. So yeah, it was fun. It was great. So I'm glad we did.
At a rain-out game at Wrigley Field, we're doing business in a bar on Clark Street.
That's the beauty of this neighborhood, my man. That's one of the reasons I love living up here, is because even if people just pop up even if it's not a Cubs game, it's a concert, and I can just get to run downstairs and give them a hug for 5 seconds and just say, hey, what's up? That's one of the beauties. And then, we get a little extended stay every once in a while when the guys are around. Well, dude, we'll talk a little bit about what we're doing here and why we're going to try to help the people. And obviously there's going to be a little bit of a mortgage update. That's kind of why we're here. Anything particular what's going on, V-Man, in the last couple of weeks, or things that people should be on the lookout for when it comes to mortgages?
So I'm going to drop a few things right now. I was on a call this morning with my team, and rates are coming down, but just ever so slightly. And unfortunately, there's still unscrupulous people in all industries and all businesses. And some of my friends and family and previous clients and borrowers are getting contacted by people telling them that the rate is, 4% or 5%, which is 1,000% not true. If you want that rate, it'll cost you thousands and tens of thousands of dollars in points and exorbitant fees. So what we talked about this morning on our call is how sad it is that people are still doing that. And then we get calls thinking the rate is X when the rate is not X, it's Y. And yes, people are starting to refinance. If you have an interest rate over 7%, we can do an analysis and see if we can get you down a half, 0.75% and save you $200, $300, $400 a month in your monthly payment. Who wouldn't want that? But it's a slow process. It's not there yet. The news comes out that the federal fund rate goes down, and people think mortgage rates goes down. The federal fund rate is not the residential interest rate. But with regard to what's going on right now in the market, that's what's going on. Rates are creeping downward, but you need to talk to a professional that you know and trust to give you the skinny on what your rate would be without points or without exorbitant fees.
Yeah, agreed. And we saw in November, right? Rates that the Fed cut basis points, but the rates actually went up. It's not a direct correlation, and they're not exact. So getting with a professional and finding where that monthly payment is. If it's not today, all right, V-Man, here's where it needs to be for it to make sense for us. And we're here. Like, we know that rate could literally last for a half hour. It could last for 2 days. But, we've seen windows where if you didn't pounce within 2 hours, that rate's gone. So have that conversation with your mortgage person. Set that plan and expectation, hey, this is the number we need to be at. If you see it, lock it. And call them up. Here's where we're at. You can back out a bit on that same day if that's the case. But make sure you have that conversation with them and know your goals and where your baseline is for you to make that makes sense for you.
Back in the day when I had all the rental units in the city and Dean Vlamis was my loan officer, if I could save $100, I was refinancing. Well, now
totally
the $100, you need to save more than $100. Times have changed. Inflation, wages, home prices. So now people want to save maybe $200. But I've done refinances where people have saved $700 a month. How do you like that? But back in the day, $100, man, Dean, refinance me. But $100 might not be enough. So just be a little more patient. Talk with someone you know and trust, like Barko or myself, and we'll advise you when that rate is low enough for no points, normal fees, and you can save several $100s a month.
Yeah, and title fees on a refi are not like a purchase.
Correct.
And you can refi typically every 6 months, right? So if you have a savings that does make sense, I encourage take advantage of it. Yes, we'd love to see rates continue to go down, and we hope that's the case, but you don't know. And there are many factors that do hit rates. So if it does make sense, take advantage of it. If you lose a little bit, in terms of the rate goes down 6 months, you can still take advantage of that then at that point. So absolutely, get with someone, find that starting point, that baseline, and make sure that person's going to be working for you, and to make sure they get on it when the rates get to that point for you. So anything else from the mortgage standpoint for this week?
No, just you and me are just we have our eyes focused on these rates, and as long as we keep providing exceptional service, and we have this fantastic support team and all the employees that Nina provides us with, we're going to do some great things in the coming months and the coming years.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we should put on the list to talk about when it comes to our mortgage. A couple minutes here is about the difference of A&N and how we do lend our own money, but we have other sources of lending options too, which kind of one of the things that sets us apart, especially those things I've learned trying to start my own business and going through it. And but hey, do I really want to be doing all of that? So for her to be 20 years as this successful and having that stuff set up for us is fantastic. So something we can definitely add to the agenda for us down the road. Well, one of the things we're going to do every couple of weeks here when we jump on these podcasts is, because we're so close to Brother Rice and Carmel, and very our belief in the high school system, and I think for me it's the 4 weirdest years of someone's life, and to have leadership and support, I just love those years to be able to say, hey, go get them, here's life, and you kind of get thrown out on your own, and I think that's part of the reason why I think we both believe in that, high school education. And we know that those aren't the only 2 schools. There's plenty. We are so fortunate in the Chicagoland area. We could be here for days talking about the great high schools and schools we have in Illinois and Chicagoland specifically. So what we're going to do is highlight someone from a school and neighborhood, give a little gift card, but someone who is doing something above and beyond, who's a teacher, if it's a student. We're going to put a little form on our link when we post this, a link to a form when we post this, so you can nominate people. We will recognize them on here, try to get them on board. Those gift certificate, probably from the local neighborhood restaurant, so you're going to support the restaurant as well. But again, we really, obviously, you'll see, believe in what we do with the high school education, and we know we're very fortunate to have so many, and we want to take some time to highlight, the schools and the people who are doing wonderful things there, and then the neighborhoods, because like Chicagoland, we're very lucky. We have a lot of really good neighborhoods for you, depending on whatever your home goals are. So, V-Man, sound about right?
Yeah, and in conclusion, I'd like to say that we work with a lot of people from different industries. We work with realtors, attorneys, financial planners, inspectors, appraisers. And all these people come from their high school, whether it's public or private. And they're doing great things in the business world. They're also giving back to their community and their high schools. And those are some of the people that Barko mentioned that we're going to highlight and focus and reward and give a pat on the back to throughout these podcasts.
Love it. And I guess wrapping this up, at this time we're going to probably have a guest, and someone who's either
who might that be?
We'll have to check out and see. But yeah, Mike. So that's what we're gonna do. This time we're gonna have someone come on. Maybe it's Nina Vlamis, our CEO, for our first guest. But someone who and we have a nice Rolodex of really good people who can talk about real estate, how their experiences have shaped their careers, and just a lot of fun that I think we both have chatted on the side about, and excited to kind of bring some other people into your lives and show you a little bit about what they're doing, and and how what home really means. I think that's part of this too, is, finding your home base and to be able to tell those stories about where you grew up and why you chose to put your flag down in certain areas today and meaningful parts of those communities. So super excited to start this with you, V-Man, and I really appreciate you making the time and do just the connection, man. It's when you find good people around, you keep them close. So you're obviously one of them.
Thanks, brother. You're my guy. Thanks, Barko.
All right, guys. Check you later. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us, and we'll see how episode 2 comes out. Thanks for the support.
Thank you.